just like to offer a big shout out to Touchdown Digital, the sponsor of this week's video. Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Glenn Selman and you're watching Sniper Photography. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that's based on planning and planning your outings with your camera. Now, I know a lot of photographers out there don't plan, the weekend comes around and they want to go out with their camera and they just get in the car and just drive to a location. You know, you could get lucky and come away with some really nice images. However, you've got to base your thoughts along these lines. How many times a year do you go out with your camera? And what are the chances of you capturing some really fine shots? Well, I can tell you right here and now, if you plan each and every outing you have with your camera or your camera gear, you will come away with much better images of a higher quality. Everything will be far superior than just taking pot luck with your photography. Now, a lot of people go out there and say, oh, I don't need to plan, I just go out and just take some photos. Well, that's fine. If that's what makes you happy, I'm happy for you. But why not plan your outings? Now, if you can only get out once a month or once a fortnight or once every week, if you're lucky enough, you still need to plan. You need to look at the weather systems, because in this day and age, there's plenty of information available for each and every one of us. You can download the weather apps, there's certain photography apps you can download, and I suggest you do that because it just eliminates a lot of upcoming problems with your photography. But if you plan your outings, starting from, if you're going out on a Saturday morning, for argument's sake, start looking at the weather from Wednesday onwards. Search the area that you wish to photograph. Whether you've been there before or not, it doesn't matter because the weather changes dramatically. And as I always say, photography is about light. And without light, you don't have a photograph. So it's a good idea to plan your images, plan your shots, and plan your outings. This is very, very important to your success as a photographer. And yes, it takes time, but anything good in life certainly takes time, and I can vouch for that. So when you're thinking of going out on the weekend, because most people can only go out on the weekend, start looking at the weather systems. Look at your areas that you wish to photograph from about Wednesday onwards. Wednesday's a good place to start, actually. Pull aside a bit of time, whether it's in your lunch hour or at your home, or if all depends what sort of life you lead. It's only going to take probably half an hour to an hour on a Wednesday, and maybe half an hour and another half an hour on Thursday, Friday. So when you do that, you'll have this idea in your mind as to what shots you want to take. Now, if you haven't been to a location before, it doesn't matter because there's that much information out there. You can jump on the internet and look at YouTube, you can look at Facebook, you can look at Instagram, Twitter, any of those platforms, and you can see those areas that other people have been to. Not necessarily grabbing really great shots, but it gives you an idea as to what equipment you can take and what lenses that you use, or what you can use on that particular day at that particular location. And this is very, very important. You don't want to be carrying lenses, which are quite heavy these days, let's face it, that you don't need. You're carrying excess weight, you get tired, and you're fumbling around in your bag. You don't want that. What you really should be doing, and it's up to you, and this is how I instruct, do your research and planning goes hand in hand. Look at what you're doing, look at where you're going, and look at the images that other people have taken of that particular area, and they will be there. And then you can work out, well, I want to get a wide angle shot, or I want to get really, really close to the subject. You might have to take a macro lens, or you might have to take an ultra wide angle lens, or even a wide angle lens. But then again, you could be in an area where you need a telephoto lens. So instead of just taking potluck and taking 3 or 4 lenses with you, do your research and then you can work out what lenses you need to take. It's all about structure with your photography. It's all about planning. And I know there are people out there that are hopeless at planning. I understand that. I get it's human nature. But when it comes to this, you've spent a lot of money on your equipment. You've already spent a lot of time in the field as a photographer. And I have not met a photographer or an up-and-coming photographer that has never said to me, I'm happy with where I'm at. I've never met that person. I've never met a person that's happy with where they are. Most of the photographers or the up-and-coming photographers that I actually teach and tutor, they want to get better because that's why they're listening. And the way to do that, and one of the ways to do that, is planning and have that foresight as to where you want to be with your photography. And you can really only do that by implementing strategies. And one of the strategies is, the title of this video, Plan to Succeed. And that way you'll know exactly what gear to take. But do your research. Research is so important. An old photographer once said to me, if you don't do your homework, you won't pass the test. And I've never forgotten it. I've never forgotten it, and I've implemented that in my life actually. If you don't do your homework, you won't pass the test. And let's face it, landscape photography is the ultimate test. And Ansel Adams once said that. It's the test of the photographer, and it's a test of the human being, and it's a test of your mind or our minds. So think about this. Think about when you're going out with your camera and your gear. Think about where you want to go. Think about what sort of images you want to take and what sort of composition you're after. But do your planning and your research, and I think if you do that, you'll come away with far superior images, and you'll be well on your way to becoming a very proficient, a very good photographer. The idea is not to waste time, because you will waste time if you haven't done any planning, you haven't completed any planning, you haven't done any research, and you go to a location, you're looking here, looking there. Don't waste time, because time's precious for our lives, you know, time's precious. So with a strict planning and research routine, and if you follow this line, I think you'll find you will improve as a photographer. Well, let me know in the comments below whether you do any planning or any research, because I'd like to know. I like to know how you guys do it out there. And it's very important for me to know, because I can then pass that on to my people or my students that I actually teach in this wonderful world we call photography. So thank you. That's another episode here at Sniper Photography. I appreciate your kind words, and any new subscribers, I really appreciate that from the heart. God bless you all. And as I always say, be nice to yourself, family and friends, but most of all, you keep shooting, keep smiling. Bye for now. You guessed it, it's coffee time.